neutralized by using IS 1.48 and the test should be negative. The candida applicants, all applicants. This test is performed by IS by using IS 1.48. This test also should be negative. Then heavy metals. These are the most important ingredients. These are harmful to the human body. This should be very negligible. Heavy metals, lead and oxide. This is also a qualitative test. By using qualitative test only, this color comparison test. The limit is 20 ppm for heavy metals lead and oxide. It is also a qualitative test, and the limit is 2 ppm below. And mercury, it is a test is done by AAS, atomic absorbent spectrophotometer, by using the IS 16913 method or 1749 method. This limit should be below 1 ppm. The sample quantity is required 50 gram per total analysis, and you have to collect the samples and double the quantity, because any results obtained, we cannot ask one side to be planned. And initially, you have to request double the quantity. It is a safer side. Then air shampoo. One more kind of shampoo is the air shampoo, baby shampoo. It is to perform the quality of this shampoo. We are performing 6 parameters as per the IS 17017. Active surfactant content as SLES. This is also done by hydrometric and the UV spectrophotometer also. And the limit is 2%. Non-volatile alcohol soluble matter by percentage mass minimum 4%. This test is done by gravimetric and also hydrometric method. One is the most important test is the pH. The pH is done by using pH meter. This limit is 4 to 7.5. And foamate for 2% solution. This is done by foaming pipette. This is the glass apparatus by using this. This requirement is 100 mm. Then one more heavy metals. This is also a color comparison test, and the limit is 20 ppm below. And the oxide test, this is also a color comparison qualitative test, and this limit is below 2 ppm. Then microwave count test. Total microwave count for this you are using IS 1448, and the limit is 200. Very small count. This for this method we are using IS 14648, and the limit is less than 100. Then equally this bacteria should be observed to perform this test. IS 14648 we are using. Pseudomonas also it has to be negative. It should be negative by using this method 14648. Staphylococcus, this should be also negative. To perform this IS 14648 we are using. Candida albicans, this also negative, it should be negative. But this test is done by IS 14648. These are the products we are daily consuming, we are using. Okay. Then these are the shampoos we are using, and this is the market. And how to perform the parameters, what is the methods we are using. Then we go for next product, that is soaps. In the market, there are available different kinds of soaps. There are classified into SRIS and cosmetic act, Rule 9 schedule. There are 3 types. One is bathing bar, one is toilet soap, and a baby toilet soap. To perform the test bathing bar, we are using certification IS 13498, and the test method is IS 286. For toilet soap, specification is IS 229, and the test method is IS 286. For baby toilet soap, the specification is IS 10523, and the method reference is IS 286. Then bathing bar. So these are the category soaps are present. But how to perform this test? What are the parameters to perform quality of the soap? It is totally 5 parameters to check the quality of the soap. One is lather, one is moisture, 3 caustic alkali test, 3 carbonated alkali test, and the flavor for wickedness. All these are qualitative analysis. The other is chemical test, and most is a qualitative analysis. The pre-positive calculation is spectrometry. The pre-carbonated alcohol is a spectrometry. This is also a spectrometric analysis. Spectrometry is a qualitative test. Then one more kind of product is walking bar. For this, IS the specification is 13498 and the method is IS 286. To check the quality of this product, there are two parameters are there. One is freedom from cracking, and cleansing efficiency, cracking matter, total cracking matter, synthetic properties, activation, cracking matter from dissolved activities. Dissolved activity. So for freedom from cracking, this is the quality test. It should be the test should be passed. The method is 13498. The cleansing efficiency is for the qualitative test. And cracking matter, total cracking matter, the synthetic active agent present the mass minimum 8 and crack matter from dissolved activities minimum is also 8. This is also a gravimetric analysis. Totally, there are 25 units required to analyze complete for one analysis. Then one more kind of product is the toilet soap, And the specification for this two privileges. To check the quality of this soap, the purpose is totally 7 parameters. This total parameter. For this is a gravimetric analysis. The limit so there are these 3 grades available. So grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. In grade 1, what is the difference in grade 1, grade 2 is from TFM, there is a addition of total criteria. For grade 1 parameter, grade 1 so 76% TFM the integrated percent, grade 2 70% is there, grade 3 60% is there. If you go to TFM content, it is moisturizing the skin without dehydration. And one more parameter, rose and acid mass, total parameter. This is the hydrometric analysis for grade 1 and grade 2, all the limit is below 3, maximum 3. For pre-caustic alkali, it is a hydrometric analysis. For this for IS 286 method, and the limit is 0.05% for all the 3 grades. One more parameter, matter dissolvable in alcohol by mass maximum 2.5 for grade 1 and the grade 2 10%, grade 3 also 10%. For this is also a gravimetric analysis, and for this method is IS 286. For chlorides as a sodium chloride, for this is a hydrometric analysis. For the grade 1 parameter 1.5% and grade 2 also 1.5%, grade 3 also 1.5%. The method is IS 286. Pre-carbonate alkali by mass. This is also a hydrometric analysis. For this, the grade 1 and grade 2 grade also same limit, that is 1% below, maximum 1%, and the method is IS 286. And last parameter is lab. Lab is for taking the chemical test, and for this specification IS 13498, and the limit is for grade 1 280, for grade 2 240, grade 3 200. But to perform all these parameters, sample quantity is required 200 grams. Then one more kind of product is baby towel soap. For this, IS specification is 10523. To check the quality specification, total there are performing 6 parameters. This is among the first one is total parameter. It is also a gravimetric analysis, and the limit is 78%. And moisture and volatile matter, this is also a gravimetric analysis. The requirement is 50%. One more parameter, matter insoluble in alcohol by mass, gravimetric analysis. This is done by method IS 286. And another parameter, matter insoluble in water by mass. This is also a gravimetric analysis. The limit should be maximum 0.5%. And one more parameter, that is pre-caustic alkali. It is also a hydrometric analysis. and the limit is 0.03% below. And for chloride, as a sodium chloride, this is also trigonometric analysis. The limit should be maximum 1%. And another four parameters: pre-carbonated alkali is also a trigonometric analysis. Freedom from poison is also a trigonometric analysis. This should be positive test as per IS 286 method. Freedom from grittiness. This is a qualitative test as per IS 10.23 and it is to positive test. And other three contents, equal content, it is also a qualitative analysis. This should be nil. It is harmful to the human body. It should be nil. The iron content in ppm level, it is done by spectrophotometer. This should be a maximum 10 ppm. One more parameter, copper. This is also spectrophotometer method. The maximum limit is 3. Okay. All these parameters, the sample requirement is for walking dot 500 unit of 50 units, total soap 400, toilets of 400 gram, and baby toilets of 100 gram, soap based shampoo, 2 separate units with a minimum 100 ml, surfactant based shampoo, 2 separate units with a minimum 100 ml, air shampoo for babies, 2 separate units with a minimum 100 ml. These are the instruments when utilized to perform this air meter, isometer, unit spectrophotometer, pH meter, home test meter, home pipette, and the test of beaker and upper parameters. These are the instruments required to perform all these. Then to perform this all the tests, few rules I have to follow. We have to follow the laboratory. Then general requirement. The analyst or a person is legally identified, is qualified under qualification and qualified person. It should be recruited. And testing, calibration, validation, and all other technical activities in such a way to meet the as per GLP requirement. Quality managers and technical managers have to evaluate the technical audits and within the circumstance requirements. Then premises, free from cross contamination, surface shall be permit easy cleaning, disinfectant, and adequate space, dust free, air ventilation, and availability of utilities. The adequate lighting, ventilation, air conditioning to function instruments properly, and samples are stored in the 25-degree only. All samples are to be expired. Adequate drainage system, prevention of water lines, acid resistant tabletops, controlled environments to carry out the biological risks, disorder facilities. Then personal things, well qualified analysts, well qualified staffs under adequate training and experience of staff could have. The training records should be maintained throughout the year. Head of the laboratory, personnel in cosmetics and right. And equipments. Availability of the equipment, required equipment, dust free, temperature and humidity control, clean, tidy environment. The calibrations, usage SOPs, records, progress, register for non-functional equipments, SOP for the preventive maintenance, identification, out of order equipment, service software, tools, auto cleaning. Then chemicals and reagents. Storage and handling as per NSBS level safety. If the chemical is received into the laboratory, then you have to label received date, bottling date, and use report date. Use report date, and the NSBS should know the NSBS of the respective chemicals to handle. And good housekeeping and safety. Circulation of safety instructions, SOPs, MSDS, restriction of recovers, usage of PPE, personal protective equipment inside the laboratory, first aid kits, and fire fighting equipment, sterility, pipette, sterility PPE, personal protective equipment, cylinders handling of chemicals, biohazards, waste, etc. And maintain the calibration and validation of equipment properly within the gates. The SOPs ensuring the calibration, manufacturing instructions, and the labels should be maintained properly online. And reference materials, traceability, coding records, storage, etc. Then microbiological cultures, source, aspect area, biochemical tests, etc. In quality system, management of traceability, detection and correction of non-cosmetics, quality policy, and organograms, etc. Then internal quality system audits. Internal audits, corrective actions, record, etc. to be maintained. And monthly or internal audit should be performed to ensure the excellence. Management review, at least once in a 2 months to be reviewed to ensure the system and SOPs. Availability of SOPs for all steps involved from sample receipt to archival. The protocols and specifications authored as per the Act and rules. Raw data, all kind of videos, GDP, data integrity, and safety should be maintained. Storage and archive. Once in a year, after final report, SOP for destruction and storage, sample integrity, document, storage, etc. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Suresh, for giving the insight for the security as well as sir, I request you to stay back on the stage. I request yes, one sir to bring over the certificate of appreciation. Please, sir. In fact, Auditor Research Laboratory is the first organization who obtained the cosmetic approval. Yes, without any breaks, we move on to the third question that is delivered by Dr. Malari Nayak. He has traveled all the way from Mangalore to be here in this workshop. He'll be covering certain special categories also, including the aerosol sprays as well as cyanide oil, cucumber powder. Who have one manufacturing units of these cosmetics in Karnataka. One is at Mysuru, the Karnataka Mysuru Scientific Factory that was established by our Vadaya dynasty, and still with the plate technology, it is being run in a very profitable manner. So, a big round of applause and appreciation for our okay, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. I really thank the State Department and all the dignitaries for considering primacy industries as one of the partners who can be a resourceful person to give you and enlighten you with enriching the knowledge of cosmetic testing. So before the participants are done, I just like to give you a brief. I'm Ballari, and I'm coming from privacy industries in Manila. We are actually a contract manufacturing company, and we are using a lot of cosmetic-based products, specifically in the aerosols and sprays and all. And often we are also using let's start with this. So, as the title suggests, the topic of my discussions will be specifically limited to areas space followed definitories, wet pipes, and the specifically in accordance with the period standards and cosmetic use. You already had two wonderful sessions where the speakers had enlightened you in depth about some of the very common cosmetic analysis, specifically with respect to the heavy metals and micro testing. I won't be digging deep into all of that, but what I try to make an effort is try to enlighten the how a particular cosmetic is sampled in all these categories and how some of the critical analysis are being aligned. Let's start with this. So, the category of cosmetics, I was starting with the first alcohol fragrance solutions. In that, we have perfumes and aftershave devotion. We have depilatories, wherein I have the cleans and waxes type, and also in the airport pipes, and on the wet wipes, and it with the hair ties. I will also give a brief glimpse on the sandalwood oil also, which is not as a part of it, but I will talk to you about it. So as the category says, there are a couple of cosmetic products which are very widely sold in the market which do not attract any standard testing protocols as per Bureau of Indian Standards. So I will try to enlighten you what has to be done in such cases. So let's start with aerosol. A brief introduction about it. I think many of you might have been using specifically as a deodorant spray or a perfume spray, and all the others will be using in the form of a shave foam. So aerosol is a kind of a packaging system normally used for continuous dispensation using the pressure which is generated by the propellant. The major components of it are the valve actuator propellant and the product formulation. The working principle is very straightforward. The pressure inside the container pushes the product out of the container, passing through the tube valve and actuator. So, if I give you a brief diagram, so that talks about the can, valve, actuator, and the cap. So, this is how it normally looks in the market. And this is the basic working mechanism of it, wherein how a particular product works out. So, there are actually two components in this. One is on the propellant which is over there and one is on the concentrate. So whenever we are trying to analyze a particular cosmetic, it is the propellant part which is never being getting into the analysis. What normally happens is the particular manufacturer declares the content as a net content as 100 grams. The 100 grams is normally referring to the contents inside it, not with respect to the propellant. If they have to give it the both, then they will be giving you both. So when the quantity of the bulk and the propellant also has been checked. Now you look into the market products. There are lots of market products which are available over there in the cosmetic space. Deodorant, shave foam, dry shampoo, hairstyle sprays, hair removal sprays, sunscreens, which is a very prominent category which is now. So I'll give you some photographs of the products which are available in the market, which are all there in the specifically in the aerosol format. Dry shampoo is another category of product, and hair styling spray is also the category of product. In the morning, Venkatesh sir was mentioning that there are certain products wherein there are no cosmetic or there are no testing standards are available. But in certain schedule of the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, the CDSM is giving the approval for the category of products. So these are the categories of cosmetics where the CDMO is giving the approval. However, there are no standards which are here. Coming to the aerosol testing, I'm giving you a brief of it, like what and all are the applicable standards for this. Like in IS 8469, IS 9009, and IS 14648. The earlier session, people have already talked about these two methods. I will not be focusing much on that. Okay? So in the aerosol testing, there are two categories. One is on the only test which is available is the method of test of the flammability of the aerosol products and method of test of the compatibility of the aerosol dispensers. And for the packaging material, there are three such categories which are available. However, as there is no such regulated rules or things, so manufacturers are bound to have their own methods of testing, their own methods of making their specifications. What we normally do in primacy is we try to refer ASTM as one of the standard ways, American Standard for Testing Materials. We take the references from them and then we try to make a specification which is in line with the product analysis. So the major parameters what we consider is odor appearance, spray rates and all. And there are the parameters which are the testing protocols which are given by the BPS are the flammability and the compatibility of the aerosol dispensers, which are actually taken in the type of the development. So in the deodorants testing, so this is how a normal spec look like. I found there's something you cannot see, but anyway, it actually talks about the heavy metal and other contents are already given there. So if you can see in the last column, all the things are as per the aim only. So shaving foam is also another category which is very commonly available in the market. However, there are no testing standards which are available. But what we do is we refer it from the shaving creams. Shaving cream gives about only two basic parameters. One is the total fatty matter, which has to be around 20 to 40, and the next is on the microbial eye estimation. But this being a foam, you are directly getting the lather into your hand. So there is no way that you are trying to estimate a foaming capability of a foamed lather. So that is totally a not required character. Only required character is on the microbial count, at least in more count, and other parameters are listed over here. One of the very critical parameters which has to be considered in an aerosol container testing is on the can pressure. Can pressure is something which gives the analysis that what is the quantity of propellant which is present and whether that pressure is sufficient to dispense the entire product out of the container. So I just give you a brief example, like how a particular analysis for aerosol-based product is done. So some of the critical parameters are the pressure, leak test, empty out, and flammability. Flammability is normally done whenever we are doing the development of the product. So pressure is tested with the normal pressure gauge. It is again a fabricated device. I don't know whether it can be made available by any testing. So we normally import it from either from Germany or we get it from China. And this is a leak testing apparatus. So a leak testing is something you don't have to fabricate this. You can have a big drum with a hot water and then you can immerse the entire container and see from the seals or anywhere there is any bubbles which are coming out. How a normal you try to check a puncture in the tire in the same way. A leakage is a very critical parameter which indicates that what, like if the container leaks out, what are the problems which are going to happen. Next, coming to the aerosol testings, the net content is something very critical where we have to estimate whether 100 grams or the weightage which is declared, the manufacturer has added the desired quantity of propellant or not, and whether the manufacturer has added the desired quantity of bulk or not. It is a very, very critical parameter which is very difficult to estimate because once it is sealed, you cannot easily break out. So what we have done is we have developed a method where we do a small puncture at the top of the container and then we let the entire vapor phase to escape out. And once the entire vapors are escaped out, we get the bulk. So with this, we will be able to estimate what is the weight of the propellant which is present in the container and what is the weight of the bulk or the mixture which is present in the container, and whether the sum of these two is at least matching to the label. Next, coming to the flammability testing. So flammability is a very critical testing which is normally required by many people to consider it during the development, which many people are not doing these days. Aerosols is like a mini bomb. So if a slightest exposure to flame can cause a catastrophe. So flammability testing is proposed by IS 84669. It is also again a fabricated device. There is no such company which will manufacture it. All the dimensions and all the requirements for that is given very detailed in our guidelines. We can refer it from them. So once you do a test, it almost looks like this. Where you have a running scale on the behind, you have a candle or any source of ignition over there, and then you spray it at 150 mm. So what is the flame projection? This is what is being seen. And if you see the BPIS classifies it like it should be combustible, flammable, or highly flammable. In any product, it is highly flammable. It has to be immediately banned or it has to be immediately withdrawn from the The other is the tag open cup test method. I will not get much details into it. It actually talks about what is the flash point of the content which is present inside the container. By giving a temperature rate of 120 degree and then trying to estimate what the temperature is. These are the temperatures and these are the classifications where all these are very detailed and very local extent in the IELTS. The next category is of the alcohol fragrance solutions. So by definition, it is a very simple definition wherein alcohol perfume is used, really used for the person who we are having two types of products. One is cologne perfume sprays and aftershave lotions. Both the categories of products are covered by IS. So normally, if you look at the market, the packaging comes we have plastic packaging, spray, roll-ons, and plastic has a plastic packaging opens pouch. So these are normally glass. These are in the plastic and metal container. These are another plastic containers for the pocket perfumes. So all these are covered in the components. So as per the IS, the very applicable standard is IS 88482, and alcohol reagent is another very critical requirement. Alcohol is a very alcohol substance of abuse. So IS mandates, and if you look into the Indian excise laws, it clearly mandates that alcohol given for the industrial purpose has to be denatured as per a particular formula, which is all given in IS 411. So
उधर लगा के करना पूरा पैर और सब दिख रहा
था alcohol using and the denaturing formula is denaturing is that you make the alcohol non-consumable. The moment you add it, it will become so bitter that it will be no more able to consume it. That is the only concept over here. And other tests of determination, heavy metals, everything is already explained. I don't get it. And for the cosmetic groups, there will be one thing is mercury acid is the one. In the colognes, these are as it is a straight copy from the specifications. Alcohol content, methanol, salinity, smell, cloud temperature. Alcohol content should not be less than 50% volume by volume, which is very clearly mandated. They have given a GC method by which the state can be estimated. Methanol is a very carcinogenic substance. So in the same GC method, we have told to observe any peaks of methanol is present with stability of smell. Stability of smell is normally done with a bleached gauze. So what we normally do is we take the dressing aids, we soak it with the perfume, the solution of around 1.5 ml of the cologne has been added into it, and then we keep it for 24 hours at the room temperature, and then we take a deep sniff of it, and then to see whether the entire notes of the perfume, which was earlier, has been taken up. So it is a very simple and easy experiment which can be by everyone. Cloud temperature. Normally, what happens is all these colognes are all heavily loaded with the perfumes. They are loaded with around 20%, around 15% of perfumes. They contain all terpenes, aldehydes, ketones. So, over the period of time, these are bound to precipitate out. If they precipitate out, the actual profile of the perfume gets out. So, IS has given a particular standard wherein you need to take a cylinder and then you have to add it and then keep it at plus 5 degrees for a particular amount of time and then see any precipitates are coming up. So, if it is not coming, it is considered to be a pass. And this is a brief, sorry. The brief estimation, the brief methodology of how an alcohol content is being done with respect to it. So it is given by an internal standard method. By one propanol is used as the internal standard, and ethanol is also being taken as a standard. And peaks of methanol, if any present, has to be identified in that one. We normally use 1,1-dimethyl formamide as a solvent into it because it is not clearly mentioned in the IR. Yes. And finally, the calculations are given, and this is the explanation for the chromatograph if it is presence of any phenol over there. Now, aftershave lotions is another category of products. It's normally used by men after shaving. However, this is a diminishing category of cosmetic. Earlier, people were using single razor blades, which used to have lots of cuts on the face. So people were using lot of aftershave lotions. Nowadays, Gillette and many other companies have come up with advanced razors where there are two razors are there, triple razors are there, and it is so smooth that you don't get any much cuts. So this category, even though it exists in the market, but it is a very diminishing category. You do not find lots of products into it. Alternative to this, we also have alums, which are normally being rubbed after the shaving is done. So nobody considers using them. So, but we have a specification for this. Again, alcohol content is given as 5 to 70%. I need to mention that in the aftershave lotion, there are two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is a water-based aftershave lotion. Type 2 is an alcohol-based. So, in the alcohol-based, it is from 5 to 20%. And again, stability and cloud temperature are similarly to what is looked there. I don't get much into it because I've already covered in the earlier section the stability of the smell and the cloud temperature. But here the alcohol content is a different level of estimation wherein they talk about you need to do a Soxley extraction of it and the distillate has to be collected, and then once you collect the distillate, you need to measure the specific gravity of the distillate, and based upon the specific gravity, you need to estimate what is the percentage of the alcohol content, which is an older method of doing it. So, which is the method is normally followed by distilleries when they're trying to extract an alcohol from the system. So, if I have to summarize on the equipment part, like it normally requires a GC and a general laboratory apparatus and heavy metals, normally by the Nestle cylinders, which many speakers have already spoken much about it, and a distillation by normal and Dean stack apparatus, not much of an equipment. Now, next categories are the depilatories. As the product says, it is normally used for to remove the unwanted hair from the body. And these are presented as creams, sprays, and waxes. I need to highlight that the standards are available only for creams and waxes. There is no standards as such available for the sprays. But if you look into the brief working of it, it works on by getting on the keratin in the hair, making it easier to remove. And then it is wiped off. So normally all the hair removal packets are supplied along with the hair extractor. These are safe, painless, and very easy to use. So only two such very prominent category of products which are available in the market. But however, if you come into the hair removal sprays, it is a very growing category. You just go to Amazon and just put hair into out of 100, there will be 70 products will be in the spray format and hardly 20 to 30 products will be in the cream format. Wheat is the only prominent brand which is still doing the hair in the depilation category. But in the spray category, have gained very popularity because the ease of usage in the aerosol spray is very interesting for the end user because they don't have to wait for a long time. And the ease of application is so that once you spray it, you have to wait hardly 1 to 2 minutes for the entire the inflation to happen. Whereas in the creams, you have to apply it and wait minimum for 10 minutes of that time. So there is a standard for this. Diplotories IS 9636 is available, and other standards, microbial examination, metals to be updated. And these are the specifications which are given for the cream and lotion type, lotion or even the waxes. The major ingredient in all of these diplotories is the thioglycolic acid, and the BDIS mandates that the thioglycolic acid is present minimum 2 to 5, and the pH of the entire solution has to be in the range of 11 to 12.7, so the end user is able to extract the hairs properly. And hair removal to remove hair within 10 minutes of application. If you look into the creams and lotion applications, they do not actually work by this method. Like, they do not give the results which are more satisfactory for this in comparison to sprays. Normally, it takes 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and even the hair removal happens, it does not properly come out. So aerosol sprays is again another category where there is no such standards which is available, but this category of product is growing very well. These are the standards which are applicable for that. And again, what we normally do is we try to see that the bulk pH, the pH which is before getting added with the propellant is in the range of 11 to 12.7. And we maintain that the glycolic acid content is also between 12.5 to 5.0, and thermal stability, which also has been already spoken on, wherein no phase separation is seen. So these are some of the very critical parameters for the CC which are normally taken from the creams and access matter. So this is a basic testing which is given over there. It's a simple titration testing. I won't go get into depth of it. And thermal stability is also very basic testing, where with a small hot air oven we will be able to do it. So these are some of the equipment which are listed, which could be very useful for for testing of a diplotories. But the major testing of a diplotory happens when we are trying to see the hair removing capability, which has to happen within 10 minutes. There is no such standard method even in the Bureau of Indian Standards, which says that how a volunteer has to be chosen, what body part of the hair has to be taken, what exactly has to be done, and how the timings has to be taken. Because it doesn't say that everybody's body reacts to the same way. Some may happen in 10 minutes, some may happen in 15 minutes, some may take for 20 minutes also. So, there should be some normative references wherein you are able to see that hair removal efficacy is properly seen. Now, the next category which I will be talking is on the wet wipes. Wet wipes is a small disposable cloth filled with a cleansing agent used for personal hygiene. These are single-use products made of a non-woven fabric. Just a brief introduction of non-woven fabric is a fabric which is made by heating of the polymers and extruding it through a particular process. These are not knitted by how normal clothes are mainly for the baby care and personal hygiene. The wet wipes, the process is the manufacturer buys the rolls of the wet wipes and then he dips repetitively inside a particular liquid solution until the wipe has completely absorbed all the liquid. So normally the testing parameter is each gram of the wipe has to absorb at least 7 to 8 gram of the liquid into it. So that should be the capability of the wipe. So some of the prominent products in the market, it's all over there. It's all over there. And these are the categories, these are the applicable standards. I need to give a starting thing that many of the wet wipes manufacturing which I'm also interacting with are referring to IS 17788. 7788 talks about the raw material as a wipe. So what should be its tensile strength? What should be the elongation strength? what are the other physical parameters of a dry wipe before it is being made into it. IS 17787 is what it refers to the wet wipe as a finished product. So the specifications are totally different on both the cases. And I request the authorities also to look into it. The IS 17787 talks that wet wipes is actually a medical device. So whether it is a device or whether it is a cosmetic, or should we claim it as a cosmetic if it comes under if the manufacturer claims it is a microbial content or an antibacterial things are there, that I just leave it to the experts who are here to decide. And other things are as per the cosmetic use. So these are some of the very global rules which are applicable, that I for the heavy metals and the mercury content and the environment testing. Sir, it's liquid for which water is the major content. Water with the perfume and some other preservatives like phenoxyethanols and some glycerines are being added onto it. So that is the basic solution, and then the end user ensures that the pH of the solution is between 4.5 to 7.5. That is what it is. That is what is major requirement of a wet wipe. So that solution is being kept repetitively until the mass of the one wipe becomes 8 times of it. And if you look into the end, the finished product specification, type of folding, which BIS does not specify, but it is very, very critical because wet wipes is normally pulled out from this. If the folding does not happen, all the folds will not come out. The end users are will be forced to cut open the seal. So once the seals are cut open, the chances that the wipe will dry off over the period of time. So I request the authorities to just look into that, to adding some of these critical parameters onto it. Size of the wipe is a more of a personalized category. Net content is also there. Seal leak test is something which is being told. So once it is sealed with the thing, we need to keep it under a vacuum leak test chamber and see that there is no leakage which is happening out. Because this is mainly to ensure that the liquid solution is very well absorbed into the pipes and heavy metals, microbial counts and all over there, which people have already spoken in. So this is what is the normal process which is given for 10 impacts of pipes are randomly taken, and then we have to immerse it in a leak testing, and then water has to be added onto it, and we have to apply a vacuum, and then we have to see that there are no bubbles coming out from the thing. But I feel that better way would be like we just put it and then we see any solution is coming out. Even that would also give a clear indication of it. We need to even look into how the sealing and everything happens. Okay. So these are the basic equipments which are required over there. Not much. Only vacuum leak test is something very specific onto it. I think many of the pharma manufacturers, the wipes manufacturers also will be happy in that. So the last category which I will be talking is on the hair dyes. I think many of us are using, many people after 35 are using the hair dyes in day life in one or the other way, which is a very very traditional technique of it, and many people are confused with how many categories are there. So there are temporary dyes, there are semi-permanent dyes, and there are permanent dyes. So if I have to give you a brief glimpse, so the temporary dyes are the dyes it is just like a ready dye or a ready color which is sprayed onto your hairs or applied onto your hairs. It just retails for only one shampoo, or even if you mechanically scrub your hairs, it can come out. It does not actually penetrate into it, and it is the most safe way of using it. The only drawback is it cannot stay locked down. Only one shampoo. Semi-permanent dyes are the dyes which are, I'll explain to you in the next stage over here. I'm sorry, I'm not able to see. You can see the cuticle. There is a cuticle and the cortex. So the dyes which are penetrating inside the cuticle are called as the semi-permanent dyes, which are over there. And the dyes which are penetrating into the cortex are called as the permanent dyes. So that's why permanent dyes are the dyes which are staying for minimum 3 to 4 months of time until the new stress are coming out. That's why people are having a very big phobia that hair dyes can cause any issues. But however, the scientific studies, like what we have looked into it, from the skin layer, whatever hair grows out, As long as your growing hair is white, you are pretty much assured that the dye does not penetrate into the skin. That is very much assured, because if it is penetrating, then even your new hair strand is coming out also will be colored. So permanent hair dyes, as per the Indian standards, there are classifications: powder hair dyes, oxidation hair dyes, lead salt based hair darkers, emulsion type hair dyes, vegetable based hair dyes. So powder hair dyes and oxidation hair dyes are more or less they work on the same principle, only that one is a cheaper alternative, one is a costlier alternative. Lead salt based, many have already phased out, it is no more existing in the market. Emulsion type, also many have phased out and it does not much exist in the market. Vegetable dye is nothing but your henna, the mehendi what you apply, but even then to that you will have to add some couplers so that it gives you the desired shade and the color. So this is the basic working principle of a permanent hair dye, where your dyes are actually penetrating into the cortex of it. So there are three aspects of it. One is it contains a dye, it contains a developer, and it contains a fixer. So and a base. So ammonia is specifically used to uplift your cuticles, and once the cuticles are uplifted, the peroxide and the dye precursors enter inside your cortex, and the polymerization reaction happens inside the cortex, and it gives you the desired color. Why I am telling you all this is the BIS, if you read the foreword of the BIS, it actually talks about whether the end user is getting the value for the money he is spending on the hair, because these are very expensive. I show the brands which are very expensive. So whether a method has to be done where after coloring, what should be the hair stability, the color stability, whether the testing agency should have a testing method where colors can be extracted, or whether a testing method is there where the color stability in the colored hairs are available or not, because that is something very critical and very useful parameter which is actually not included in this one. So all these are amines. If all I can say it is an benzene ring with a two acids, this is about the powder-based hair dyes. It contains aniline and the solid peroxide. The end user takes out and he empties out, and then he mixes the water, and then he forms a thick paste of it, and then he is applying onto it. So these are the categories. Not many people use it. Only it's a very cost-effective and a cheaper alternative of it. Some are still using into it. Okay, so as per the testing, the powder hair dyes, the specification is 10350 is there. Another determination of heavy metals and some there, metals is given. But there is no microbial testing as such, which is prescribed. Now, if you talk specifically of the BIS, there are three types of the hair types. One is the black, brown, and other fashionable colors. So I've taken the exact extract from this. PPD, paraphenylene diINE, is a very critical content of a dye in the we need to see what should be the content of it for the type 1, type 2, and type 3. See, these are on the physical context. So whether this much amount of dye gets into the hair shaft to give the desired color is another aspect which there is no testing to identify. So a normal, taking a cut strands and then extracting a Soxley extraction and trying to extract a color, and we need to get some test like that has to be incorporated, because we need to see whether the desired dye is giving the color for a permanently or not. And then there is a dye ready for you. So there are two testings. One is in the powder hair dye and the dye ready for you. So once the user mixes it with a bowl of water, that is called as a dye bath. So from that dye bath also we need to estimate what is the dye which is present over there. Now when I talk about the liquid gel cream, which is a more prominent category of the hair dye, this is supplied with a developer and the dye. The more prominent in the This is more prominent in the cream and shampoo format. Again, another starking difference we have for the cream, but shampoo format is improving day by day. If I have to give you a starting difference, you can see over here. These are all the cream formats and these are all the shampoo formats. Many people prefer to use shampoo because of the time it takes for coloring the hair. The analyst here has to identify whenever you get a shampoo, you try to actuate it, you will be getting the dye and developer both. So you will not be able to exactly estimate what is the dye content in the dye precursor as such. Only in the dye bath what is present, only that can be estimated. Whereas in the cream format, you will be getting separate dye and separate developers. In that, the estimation will be very, very easier. But when it comes over there, the precursor is already pre-mixed and then it's coming out. So once you actuate it, you will be getting the dye and the developer mixed together and then it comes out. So it will be very difficult for an analyst like you to break down the packaging in a so way that you are able to separate the developer and the dye in separate way and then extract it separately and then see what is the dye. So for the oxidation hair dye for the cream gel cream format is 8481. Sorry. Again, here also there's a given type 1 is for black, brown, and ultra fashion. There's also given. So these are again the same specifications, which are more or less similar to the powder-based dye, along with the heavy metals, arsenic, and these are here. This is for the developer. See, this part you cannot analyze if it is the hair dye shampoo. Because developer will be pre-mixed and then only it is coming. So you need to very carefully disintegrate the packaging so that the developer and dye are separated out. If that does not happen, this will not you will not be able to analyze and then it becomes a different cosmetic altogether. And then it comes on the dye bath. So dye bath is something which is when you once you mix both of them and then you form a thick paste. How do you estimate a dye in this? So there's a particular ratio which the manufacturer has to declare and the manufacturer has to print on the label what is the portion of the dye and the developer has to be mixed and then a particular calculation has to be done and then the PVPD or the dye content in that has to be estimated by this formula. Okay. I just give a brief glimpse on how a dye is estimated. I won't go into the other techniques. It is a simple chemical reaction with the Soxley extraction, wherein you take the dye and then you do a Soxley extraction and then you treat it with acetic anhydride and then you form the amino acetate salt and then you filter it through a sintered crucible and then you see what is the amount of the amino acetate found will be directly equivalent to the you put the thing into the calculation. From that, you will be able to get what is the content of the dye which is present. So when you will be analyzing a hair dye shampoo or a hair coloring shampoo, then these parameters, this result will be a bit of a challenge wherein the developer will be pre-mixed. So extracting the dye and the developer separately will be a very big challenge for the industry. That was about it. And then this equipment can be easily fabricated by units. Fine. And regarding the equipments, continuous extraction apparatus is for dye estimation. But recently, BVIS has also added HPLC for the dye estimation, necessary awareness for emitters. But even today, also many of the manufacturers are using the continuous extraction method only to estimate the dye content. None of them use HPLC because HPLC gives lots of estimation error. So the methods are still have to be developed and improved. I just said that in the beginning, I will be just giving a brief glimpse of sandalwood oil because sandalwood oil is a very prominent product of our country and specifically grown by our state. I thought I'll include a couple of slides on that. It is widely grown in our state in Tamil Nadu. And normally it is like it's like a generation harvesting plant. Sorry, generation to harvest. So if our forefathers would have harvested it, so today we will be able to reaping the benefits of it. So normally the tree grows up to around 50 to 60 years, and after 60 years, the diameter of the earth has to be more than 1 meter, 1.5 meter. Then you can able to take out the flakes, and then you can extract the oil from that. So India is one of the monopolistic exporter of the this one sandalwood oil, in 40 to 50% of it, and then we have a very big economic impact if we are able to increase this, because this is mainly required in the European countries, because European countries are home of fragrance houses wherein lots of fragrance demand is there, and sandalwood extract or sandalwood oil, because of its very intense and very unique odor, it is taken up by them. So it is a very simple process wherein the hardwood of the tree is taken out, and then they do an extraction from it by the steam distillation. So these are the specifications which are given over there. Odor, of course, is a very pleasant, sweet, woody notes. So the woody notes are something which are very, very critical, and then which goes into, I can say, many of the French soap companies are using this woody note of the sandalwood, wherein the cis alpha santalol, which is a very critical content of this one, which after we send the oil to the companies over there, they are extracting this, separating this by a chiral chromatography, the chiral processes, and then they use this in them to, so that they get a unique perfume. If I have to name some of the French perfume like Davidoff and all, you get a very unique notes. How does that come? Because of some very critical ingredients which are over here. And the other parameters are pretty easier for you to look into it. And then I just give you a brief distillation equipment which is given there, wherein an end user will be able to do it. So what BIS tells is to normally to separate the major adulterants and identify the adulterants. So the adulterants are glycols. Glycols, I mean, polyethylene glycols 400, polyethylene glycols 600, and castor oil. So they try to blend it with that, and then they try to send it across. So if you do a simple steam distillation, that will be a very easier way by which you can separate the oils. And once the distillate comes out, you can run a simple GC to identify any other adulterants are present in that. Thank you.
I request the speakers also to join on the stage. We have a quick session of the question and answer. China. My question is to Dr. Nayak. Dr. Nayak is about areas. Somehow Minister of the content of ammonia. What is the difference between the IS specification or the specification for ammonia? Because we see a lot of end products, especially coloring, simple. Yeah. So please highlight.
Ammonia, as if you look into the beginning of the IS standards, it is clearly given all the ingredients has to be specified to IS person department party and other standards, IS 323 or something, some number is there. So all raw materials have to comply with it. So there is no first as such saying to talk about ammonia, how much quantity has to be used. There is no critically code. What Indian standard believes is ammonia adding is not at all required. it is not a requirement as such. So ammonia should be present or not is not a requirement. What actually are the industry is that dye and the developer are the only people who do this. But we are in the cosmetic industries where we are supposed to give a very fast performing products. So as I explained the mechanism of it, the ammonia won't normally comes into opening it. So if you add a bit of ammonia, so it helps us. But as we said clearly, there is no clear standards which are available in the IS standards. If you look into the ASTM standards, it clearly talks about any basis or alkalis which are used has to be compliant to their normative reference, whether it is UVC and then they talk about the allergic tests, which has to be conducted prior to use. Even we do also test, but as for the raw material, as such, they tell that it has to be tested. From the end use, once you form a dye part, how much quantity of ammonia will be present in that has to be tested, and then you have to cut from ammonia. Hope I understand.
If anybody else is having questions, please come near the seat. And one or two questions.
Deodorants. Deodorants is not coming back. Which test you have to put in? Is that deodorants? Which deodorants?
Deodorants after there is no specification given in the targets of the people, we have to formulate all of the problems only. So if you talk into the aerosol as a category, I have given some of the parameters we normally figures the pressure, the net content, and the spraying odor everything. Other than that, to check the deodorant efficacy, there is EA standards are there, which I think many of the manufacturers do not do. So, what actually the concept of the product is, deodorant contains ethanol as an ingredient. Once it is sprayed into the human underarms, it tries to react with some of the odor causing bacteria and then it exists there. So, by which the person is able to smell good for a longer period of time. But as such, there is no test which is performed to check the efficacy of the deodorant. Other than that, as an end product, we need to check on the pressure, on the net content, and whether it is flammable or not, because it contains alcohol and derivative. So this is how this. If you consider US, FDA is considered as a clearly exam. But if you consider India, there is no clear classification, so it is considered as a cosmetic. But in the US FDA, some of the products which I talked about, depilatories, deodorants, and the upcoming category of sunscreens are all considered as drugs. So if you look into the FDA OTC guidelines, these are all getting into that. So we need specific pre-market approval if you are trying to import any cosmetics over there. But in India, there is no clarification as such, so we are considering everything as cosmetics.
Cosmetic. Yes. Nowadays, we are finding more of products which are stating that it is naturally less from the e-commerce and the research. And now whatever we have spoke is regarding the end products. Is there any BIS and raw materials? Yes.
There is a clear standard which is available for the full cosmetics. Only they did not clearly available very clearly said what and what the cosmetics considered as ingredients has to be considered as a herbal cosmetics. And what dosage has to be given has to be decided by us. And the claims what we make and how it has to be paid. It is one type of thing if you are coming under cost 5. And then because the herbal means people normally try to portray it as the Ayush. So under Ayush it is coming as something of Soundara Prasad. So there it is considered as clearly as a. So we need to first categorize a product whether it is cosmetic or Ayush products of 2022 or of 65. According to that, if it is a cost, right, there is a specific degree and standards are available for the normal cosmetics and it should be compliant to all. I have the numbers and I can give you.
So there is one more standard, natural and organic cosmetics. This is the printing stage. So you will get the what is standard, what is organic cosmetics. It is already uploaded. This is the printing stage. So you will get the already the US cannot give the US as per US we should there is natural organic cosmetics. It becomes 40% ingredients. It's 95% certified organic. Find that you will put the seal on that product. So in India, you will get another 3-4 months, you will get the natural organic cosmetics, BS.
Yes. Anyone else? Okay. Yeah.
Sir, now we are into for all general testing. Actually, we are performing for drugs and veterinary products and blood products that are all in IP, Indian Pharmacopoeia. It is there. Why? But why it is not cosmetics are not included in Indian Pharmacopoeia? It is there in BIS. That is fine. Why it is not included in such separate monograph is mentioned like in BIS? Why they have categorized like that? Why it is not mentioned in a separate monograph? Why it is not mentioned?
It is for
I see drugs.
it's for drugs, sir.
Cosmetics.
IP, you can see again under the Drug Cosmetics Act, it says IP Act followed for this. The same way for cosmetic goods, BIS standards are to be mandated. So accordingly, BIS is the agency from the beginning, it's a more of a policy discussion question. So once
The sunscreen, lotions, and gels. Other standards is not available. We received a letter from the manufacturer. There is no test for SPF factor here. Which test we have to?
It is available.
What's the SPF?
Sir,
Madam, so the SPF, contained BIS standards are available.
For detection of SPM, BS has these two guidelines that I can share you. So from that you can analyze the SPM.
Part of our manual works.
Can be analyzed in invite jobs as well as invite. Sunscreen cosmetics is under a draft listing. It is not published, it may be published soon. And for gel and all, you can use the skin gel, which I showed in the skin gel, that is very simple parameters that you can use as the reference.
ask you answer your question in very basic ways. What normally sunscreens, even though the standards are available, I don't know whether the feasibility of performing that has to be looked into. But we as manufacturers, what we do is we try to take a UV scan of whether the entire product formulation is able to absorb in all the UV rays. That is at least a simple thumb rule category that it should absorb UVA, UVB, UVC. Is to categorize that the particular cosmetic can be used as a UV. Because even if you look at the India standards, it is very elaborative and very expensive also. You need to have a human volunteer study, you need to have particular sun exposure, it has to be kept for so many days, you need to observe in a repetitive way. I don't know how it will be a feasible thing for a government agency to set up that, but at least you can extract there can be some simple extraction where you can extract the UV filters and then see whether the UV filters are absorbing in the UVA, UVB, and UVC. That can be an in-house method what we can do. But we also know what to do.
With that, we are going to end the presentation with we actually unmeeting procurement we were going to honor our speaker, Dr. Malay Naik. I request both Mohan sir and Arun sir to do the honors and present station. Example of what is yes. Pursuit of excellence doesn't end here. It is a continuous journey. So that program should be there for the continuous development, both professionally and personally. Now, it is all a teamwork that we have organized it. The day to success is always we and not me. So to thank all those who are involved and who all speakers, I request Arun sir to come and read the photo stands.
Can you share?
I regret technical features after studying of the technical system and also studying T. Respected producers of VPA Karnataka, distinguished speakers from the industry, Sri Rajasthani, Vijay Controller, India, CSO, and PSO S. Mohan, and my fellow officers of VPA Karnataka, esteemed delegates from testing laboratory and their important officers. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for making this workshop on cosmetic analysis, ESI, and cosmetic growth fertility in grand success. Respected Commissioner Sir, not that can repeat the meetings, I would like you to extend heartfelt gratitude to you for your invaluable support in organizing this workshop, your guidance and encouragement play a pivotal role in making this event a resounding success. Your presence not only added credibility to the event but also motivated the workmen to engage more deeply in subject matter. To our distinguished speakers from the industry, Sri Kumaran, research scientist from Himalaya Wellness Company, Bangalore, Suresh Babu, DL, team leader of the IO Research Laboratory, Bangalore, Sri Malari Naik, AGM, Legacy Industry Private Limited, Mangalore. We appreciate the time and effort you took to share your opinions on the subjects details. Your presentation was informative, engaging, and thoughtful provoking. We anticipate your input in future at the time of extension and establishment of our laboratory for cosmetic analysis. I thank Sri Rajtekar, Deputy Controller, PCDSO for unwavering support in all our events. I thank Ramesh G, Deputy Controller, Headquarters, and his team for initiating this workshop idea. We thank you for your tireless efforts in planning, coordinating, and executing this remarkable workshop. I thank Mr. S. Mohan, Principal Trade Officer, and his team for executing workshop very well. Your dedication and commitment are commendable. I thank Sri Umashankar JSO, Chennai my Relation Coordinator, Sri Diveswamy Engineer, and Manoj Kumar Yadav, proud GCPN, for all technical support provided by you for YouTube live streaming of the workshop. We are grateful for the presence of Dr. Vijay Joshi, Principal, Government of College, Pharmacy, and Nazir Ahmed, NS, Board of Examinability, and Dr. Sarishwara, Deputy Commissioner, Squad, Food Safety. I thank team Innovation Pharma Limited, Bangalore for arranging the handbooks on BS guidelines for cosmetics for all the participants. Lastly, the SOs, DSOs, ADCs and DI, I thank you for your active participation, engagement and valuable feedback. Your presence made this workshop a truly enriching experience. I urge all of you to utilize the knowledge gained in the workshop in day-to-day activity to ensure the quality of cosmetics available in the market for the public. Thank you once again for your contribution to this workshop. We hope that the knowledge and insight gained from this workshop will be useful in our future endeavors. Lastly, I thank Nandini, Drug Inspector and Namata Helu. We are arranged in a good manner. We will fix it. I call Pramila to CFO and Manjula.
Please join us. Please to me.
Ready? Thank you. Thank you.
There will be more announcements to be made. Actually, there is a link for the online generation of the